Hello, my Socratica friends. We're here to help you be a great student. I know we mostly talk about studying in this series, but today we're going to discuss what happens at the end of all that studying. You're going to have to get a job. And to do that, you have to apply for a job. And to do that, you're going to need a resume. Your resume doesn't have to be, actually, it shouldn't be, your complete life story. It's just intended to get you an interview. You want enough targeted detail that will get the attention of a potential employer. Your resume should be one simple page that's fast to read, because honestly, they'll probably only look at it for a few seconds before they decide whether you're a maybe, or your resume goes right into the trash. So before you start, create a separate document that is just for you. This is where you'll keep track of all your experience. Every bit of volunteering, all the little silly one-off jobs you've done, internships, class projects, all of it. You're not going to put it all on your resume, but it's great to have this resource to look back on when you write the real deal. A targeted resume focuses on a specific job opening. It highlights the skills and experiences relevant to this one particular position. So this means you're going to edit or even rewrite your resume for each specific job. I know that sounds like a lot of work, but this kind of resume will set you apart. It makes it clear to the hiring manager that you are taking this application process seriously. Now, I'm not suggesting you do this for every single job opening you see. I'd save it for the positions where you really are a good fit. Start by reviewing the job description carefully. Make a list of the qualifications and skills they're looking for. This will tell you what to emphasize in your edited resume. The ad for the job should list responsibilities. Take a look at what you'd be expected to do. Consider carefully if you really want to do these things. For instance, one of my friends turned down a job as a forensic scientist because she was expected to be on call and to drive to crime scenes all hours of the day and night. The list of responsibilities can also help you decide if you're even qualified to apply. If all the tasks look unfamiliar, it's probably not a good fit. Having said that, don't talk yourself out of a job because you don't meet 100% of the qualifications. You can learn on the job after all. Did you know that women often hold themselves back in this area? A recent study by Hewlett-Packard showed that while on average, men will apply for a job if they have 60% of the qualifications, the average woman will only apply if she has 100% of the qualifications. A follow-up study was performed to see if that was because of a lack of faith in their abilities. It turns out it wasn't that, but rather, women thought it would be a waste of time to apply, that they wouldn't be considered if they didn't meet 100% of the qualifications. This is mostly not true. This also may stem from a desire to follow the rules, but it turns out this isn't really a rule. You're not being a senseless rebel applying for these jobs. You're just putting yourself out there for consideration. If you're not picked, that's okay. What's that saying about you miss 100% of the shots you don't take? It's true. Speaking of giving it a shot, I'm going to put this out there. Did you know Socratica has a Patreon? If you love our content, consider sponsoring our work. Every single gift makes a huge difference for us. Basically, it allows us to keep making our educational videos free for the world. So all you job seekers, keep us in mind once you land that job. But first, let's get back to making you a killer resume. Pay close attention to the language of the job listing. Do you see the term self-starter? That's code for being able to work independently without someone giving you a detailed daily task list. If that's not you, that's okay. It's not a sin to be the kind of person who likes to follow instructions rather than strike out on their own every day. But it is important to know this about yourself, so you don't take a job that will make you miserable. What are some other phrases we can decode? Multitasking. That means there are going to be a lot of different tasks to juggle. Do you see the term deadline-driven? That is code for, this is a job that gets stressful when things are down to the wire. If you crumble in this situation, don't apply. There are some people who thrive in that environment, and there are other jobs that just don't work that way. Remember, you are choosing to apply for jobs just as much as they are choosing whether or not to hire you. Sometimes, honestly, the job listings aren't written very well, and they don't tell you a lot about the company or the job. That's when you have to use your googly skills. We have a video all about getting better search results, by the way. Do your research about the company. Visit their website and read their About Us section. You may even see short biographies of their employees and, hopefully, more thorough job descriptions. If you're still not sure what the job would entail, try Googling the job title. What is a marketing coordinator anyway? Google marketing coordinator job description and read up about it. This step is essential. You must be very clear about the job title. For instance, if you're a biologist, lab technician, lab manager, research assistant, research associate, these titles are all distinct and give you a clue about how much experience is needed and what your duties would be. If you have doubts, ask someone you know with this job title to explain what the job entails. Let's say you're applying to be a programmer. With a little research, you'll figure out that computer programmers have to know one or more computer languages. They should be specified in the job listing. For example, C++, Python, Java. They have to write computer programs, update computer programs, troubleshoot programs, test software, and more general skills would include analytical thinking, attention to detail, collaboration, and focus. This brings up the difference between hard and soft skills, and different jobs will require different sets of both of these. Hard skills are teachable and can be quantified. If you hold a degree in electrical engineering or received a certificate that you program in C, that's a hard skill. Soft skills are more subjective and more difficult to quantify, and for the most part, you acquire them indirectly, gradually, through experience. For example, you might say you have excellent interpersonal skills or you're a strong leader, but it's not like you have a degree in leadership. Now that you've done your research, make a list of keywords you're going to use in your resume that are specific to this job listing. For a computer programmer, these may include applications, certifications, configuration, debugging, design, implementation, infrastructure, maintenance, network architecture, restoration, solution delivery, usability. Do you see project management in the job requirements? This involves attention to detail, leadership skills, benchmarking, budget planning, performance reviews, task delegation, scheduling, quality control, and more. We're paying a lot of attention here to keywords because, and this is kind of a dirty little secret, your resume might be read by a computer before a person ever gets the chance to see it. If you don't have the right terms and keywords, your resume won't pass the first software scan and psh, into the trash it goes. This is another reason why it's so important to write a targeted resume. We found this great site when we were Googling around that listed specific skills required for each job. We'll include the link below. Remember, this may change because some fields are rapidly evolving. Make sure you know what is the current terminology. Has it changed recently? There has been a lot of disruption in various fields. You don't want to come off like a dinosaur who would need a lot of retraining. Now let's talk specifics. We're going to have just a few sections on one page. Name and contact info, those are easy. Qualifications, education, and experience highlights. Think clear, easy to read. Wherever you can, use a bulleted list rather than writing paragraphs. Don't make the font too small. 12-point font will ensure that no one has to squint. Section headers can be a little larger or make them bold. Your name at the top can also be a little larger. Pick a simple standard font like Arial or Times New Roman. I could see making an exception if you're applying for a design job. In that case, feel free to play around a little bit. Maybe even consider an infographic type resume. That's not our specialty here at Socratica, but if you are a design specialist, you'll know what I'm talking about. Everyone else, now is not the time to be playful or showy. Contact information. Get a Gmail account and make sure it is neutral and professional. hackerninjaboy@aol.com is not going to inspire a lot of confidence. If possible, use firstname.lastname@gmail.com. If that's too long, I get it, that one's for me. Pick a simplified version of your name, first initial, last name, or something along those lines. The qualifications section is a concise summary. This is where you should focus on how you are a good match for this specific position. Make sure to work in the keywords from the job posting. In fact, we recommend you start with the actual job listing and just rewrite it as a bulleted list of all the qualifications you meet. It should be almost laughably obvious that you are a good match based on the summary. Don't include anything extraneous here. Trim your education section to the bare bones. Listing your degree is sufficient unless it somehow adds to your qualifications. For instance, if you're applying to teach at a prep school, by all means include the name of your preppy high school. If you haven't received your degree yet, write the anticipated date when you'll graduate. This last section, Experience Highlights, is where you will draw from that master list of all your experience. Be extremely choosy here. We're looking for 4 or 5 entries in a bulleted list. Focus on your accomplishments, not your daily responsibilities. Try to put yourself in the mindset of your would-be employer. What problem is a recruiter trying to solve? Don't organize it chronologically or in terms of how long you were at a job. Rather, put the most relevant experience at the top. This might mean listing a very brief position from your past at the top of the list. Include action words at the start of each line in your bulleted list. These should give examples of how you have performed in the past and will continue to perform if you get the job. Here are some of our favorites in no particular order. Created, developed, established, launched. In other words, what new piece of work did you contribute? Improved, increased, as in increased sales, or decreased, as in decreased waste. How did you make things that were already in place better? Negotiated, resolved, solved. How did you face challenges? Managed, trained, mentored. How did you contribute to a functional workplace by taking on some of the leadership tasks? Don't bother with vague positive statements like highly motivated, or a real go-getter, or even hard worker. It's pretty much a given that an employer expects you to be a hard worker who will get the job done. These kinds of cliches make people tune out because they don't offer any real information about you. Remember to use numbers to quantify your experience when you can. You assisted 40 people in library searches each day. You were responsible for the $20,000 budget for the school events committee. You led a team of 6 on the expedition. You created a portfolio of 10 unique paintings that were exhibited in the art gallery. What if you're a college student and you think you don't have any relevant experience? Okay, I'd be really surprised if you have 0 experience. Think creatively here. You may not think your job at the bookstore is relevant, but you develop customer service skills there. Were you a Boy Scout? Think about the leadership opportunities you had leading younger scouts. You can also have a little more leeway as a current student to focus more on experience from your education. You can list the courses that are relevant to the job you're applying for. Include appropriate academic awards, internships, and extracurricular activities that can help you write about your special skills. Were you in the theater group? Did you get experience with sales, selling tickets, working with sponsors? Did you get experience meeting deadlines on the school paper? Again, be specific. 20 issues, always on time. Don't list references. It's understood that references are available upon request, but make sure you have at least a couple people lined up ahead of time who have good things to say about you. If you find yourself having to chase after them or they're not returning your calls, that person may not be a good choice. Ask someone else. Finally, print out a copy to check how it looks. Edit and proofread very carefully. Typos on a resume just make you look bad. Pay special attention to spelling names correctly and getting the dates right. If you're handing out your resume at job fairs or conferences, it's even more important to make sure it fits on one page. You can always make a second version that is longer for different circumstances. For instance, a CV, curriculum vitae, that you see in academia is often much longer, especially because it will include a list of publications. That's a story for another day. Do you have a mentor at your current job? Ask for feedback. You don't have to take every piece of advice you get, but it's valuable to hear how people respond to your resume. Even if you're not applying for a job right now, it's a smart idea to write a resume and keep it updated. Just writing your experience down can be a good exercise. It should make you reflect back on what you've learned, and if there are gaps in your training you want to fill. For instance, if you've never had the chance to lead a team, that's going to become obvious to you when you start writing your resume. That's a sign that it's time to look for that kind of experience. We're not saying you have to aspire to be a leader. It's more that experience in various areas will help you understand what kinds of jobs you're well suited for. We hope you see that building your resume is as much for you as for potential employers. It's all part of being a great student and eventually getting a great job.